Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Haunted Basement Studio. I'm your host, Triple B, and in this hardcore comic book review, I am going to be doing Hell Heist from Zenescope, baby. Yes, finally another Zenescope review, and this one was so good, I had to jump up here on the mic and give you guys my thoughts and review of this because this is only a 2-part series. So let's go through part 1. So when part 2 comes out next month, you will go to your local LCS and pick it up because it is going to be that damn good. Now let's get into Hell Heist from Zenescope right now. A season's crew of master thieves targets an ancient sarcophagus hidden within a luxury Beverly Hills mansion. But what begins as a high-stake heist quickly spirals into horror and chaos as the team unwillingly finds themselves up against an age-old evil. Facing a relentless supernatural force, it's a race against time, not to just complete the job, but to stay alive. 1,000 years ago in western United States, there is a crew chasing a man, as they capture him, they say, "You thought you could run halfway across the world to get away," as they throw him into a coffin in the middle of the desert. And as they throw him inside, he yells, "Open your eyes, you are just a pawn, and I will have my vengeance," as they seal the coffin shut. And they say that was the 5th one and only Balak is left. And now we cut to present day in Los Angeles, where a crew is getting ready to do a heist, as the boss says that our client wants this object and it weighs at least 300 pounds and you must wear gloves when you are handling it. And I say, "What? We don't want to get any smudges on it?" He says, "No, this is the rules that our client wants, so we must follow those rules. So when we get to the object, you must wear gloves. There's no negotiation." Now the 2 men driving the van with the crew in the back are in Beverly Hills, and one of them is smoking a cigarette. The other one says, "Don't worry, if our inside man did his job right, this is gonna go smooth as hell," as they pull up to the gate and hit the button, says, "Ready to get your game face on because we're about ready to do this." And the intercom says, "Can we help you?" And they say that we are here to fix the security cameras. And as the gate opens, they drive in. And then the security guard walks up to the driver's door and say, "Let me see some credentials." But as he does that, the crew comes out of the back of the van and says, "Here's your credentials," as he holds a gun up to his head. And they say, "Zip tie him up." And they throw him in the back of the van and say, "We only got 10 minutes to get this done." As they go to the keypad to open up the back door, they punch in the code and it opens up. As they walk in, the 2 men, the 2 drivers, are in the van saying, "We got 10 more minutes to wait. Let's see if this goes down smooth." And now the crew gets inside, but there's security guards in there, but they hold their guns up to them and say, "This job is not worth your lives," as the security guards surrender. And as they're trying to get into this big old safe, the security guards say, "You're never going to get in there. That thing is locked down." As the beep happens, the door opens up and the security guards are like, "Oh my God, they got it open." And then the crew walks in and there's a sarcophagus right there. And now one of the crew members says, "Let's get our gloves on and get this thing out of here into the van." And as they're carrying it out to the van, they're saying, "God damn, this thing is heavy." And the 2 drivers say, "There they are. Now let's get them into the van and let's get the fuck out of here." And now the van flies towards the gate, but before they could escape, a car pulls up with 2 guys and a girl get out with their guns and say, "We need to stop this van and get that sarcophagus back." And as they start to have a gunfight, one of the crew members, Mike, gets shot and he's wounded and he's laying on the ground. And the two drivers say, we need to get the fuck out of here. And as one of them says, no, I need to wait for my crew members, the other one says, no, we gotta go. And as they actually escape this Beverly Hills mansion, they drive off into the desert, leaving their wounded friend behind. And now the crew makes it back to the safe house, and the boss is saying, what happened? They're saying Mike is dead. And the boss says, well, we need to switch trucks and we need to get you two back on the road and deliver this package. And now we cut back to the mansion where Mike is barely alive and the blonde girl is telling him, you want to see your family again? I can make sure that happens, but you got to tell me where your crew went. And now the two drivers are in a new van. They're driving down the road and the passenger keeps on looking out the mirrors, and the driver says, don't worry, man, we changed vehicles, they don't know where we are. But then all of a sudden a helicopter appears from behind the van and starts blasting down at the van. And as the passenger starts to shoot up at the helicopter, the passenger gets hit by a bullet from bullets blaring down from the helicopter. The driver says, give me that gun and hold the wheel. And he hangs himself halfway out the window and he fires and he shoots and he kills some of the people in the helicopter. And he blasts the helicopter's engine and the engine starts to spiral and the helicopter tumbles to the ground in a fiery explosion. As the van takes off down the road after the burning chopper on the ground, the passenger is injured and the driver says we need to find a new vehicle as they see a sign up ahead that says truck stop 3 miles ahead, and they say we need to go in there and change vehicles. And now a car pulls up to the burning chopper that's on the ground, and you see the blonde lady walking away from the wreckage, and she says, oh my God, please help me, my husband's in there. As the passenger gets out of the car, she steps in his car and says, call 911, and takes off in his car. And now our two getaway drivers are at the truck stop where the driver is calling the boss and saying that they found us. We have been caught. And the boss says, call Manning. He's up in Desert City. He will be on his way to get you. You guys need to find a new truck. Can you do that? He says, I think I can. And as he hangs up the phone, he looks at the passenger who has been shot and says, we have been compromised. He says, how do you know that? He says, because Manning is a safe word. And then the driver gets out and says, I am going to find another truck. As he closed the door, the passenger grabs his cell phone and he calls somebody and he says, this whole mission is fucked. I need to get the hell out of here. And he says, don't worry, we are tracking your phone. Just stay there. And we need you to take out the driver. Do you know what we mean? He says, yes, I will kill him. And then now the driver is outside and he takes down a truck driver so that he can swap vehicles. The driver now has the truck secured, so he goes into the truck stop to see if anybody can help him transfer the luggage over to the other truck. He says, I will pay you $1,000. So he finds 3 truckers to help him. But as they go and move the sarcophagus, they do not use gloves. And as they pass over the sarcophagus to the other vehicle, everything seems to go okay. And then the driver gets back into the truck and he sees his passenger, but the wound from the shots from the helicopter has taken him down and he has died. And now that we know as a reader that the passenger has other allies that are coming to look for this sarcophagus, and now this driver is on his own. And now the blonde girl has got the location to the truck stop where they are, and she is driving there. And we cut back to the truck stop where one of the gentlemen that helped move the sarcophagus over is looking down at his hands, and they are turning all blistered and red. He's like, what is happening to me? And then all of a sudden he transforms himself into a demon monster, like a vampire with fangs and everything, and he's wanting to attack humans and eat their flesh. And now the passenger's backup shows up, and they're saying, oh my God, he is dead. As that person gets attacked by one of the truck drivers trying to rip off his flesh with his teeth, he's like, oh my God, shoot him. But his partner puts a knife right through his throat and pulls it out, and blood squirts everywhere. He's like, oh my God, you could have just shot him instead of using your knife. And then now we cut to the driver. He's in the bathroom and he's cleaning up and he's getting ready to get back on the road when all of a sudden another truck driver feeding on some flesh, wants to eat on him, comes busting in through the bathroom and tackles him and starts to choke him. But then you hear a gunshot, boom, and the eating flesh creature falls to the ground. And the driver looks up, and it's the blonde girl looking at him with the gun on him and says, it is time for us to go. End of chapter 1. Man, what a crazy issue from Zenescope, Hell Heist. Absolutely think this one was freaking amazing as hell. And it's only a 2-parter. That was issue number 1. And by the time you guys see this, issue number 2 will be getting ready to come out at your local LCS. So I hope that you guys go and pick it up, because I am definitely going to pick it up, and I will finish the story here on the channel. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. BBB Hardcore Comics right there, Triple B, man. And I want you guys to remember one thing: you keep it hardcore and hit that like button and that bleeping bell so you be notified when part 2 comes out. You guys, you keep it hardcore. Comics. Later.